Hey everyone, welcome to your daily demo. I'm Giancarlo Verni, joined by managing editor Andrew Park. And today we're actually taking a look at a demo for Mafia II that will be released next week on all platforms, Xbox Live, PSN, and PC. Andrew, can you give us a little bit of setup about what we're going to see here?
Sure, so we're getting the first look of anybody anywhere at the public demo. It's coming out next Tuesday. This is a level that takes place about a third of the way, I think, through the game of Mafia II. It's a mission that lets Vito, who's the main character, do some driving, do some shooting. And so maybe we'll just jump right in and take a look.
Yeah, let's have a look.
So this is, I think, the garage view, and over the course of the game, Vito can amass a bunch of cars in his garage. I think we've got like 3 in the demo so far that we can cycle through. They've got different stats, like speed and so on. I think the demo version of the game takes place in the 1950s, although in the final game is going to take place in the 40s. The thing about Mafia II is it like spans 2 decades, I guess you could say. It spans like World War II, the 1940s, and then goes into the 1950s. In the 40s, it's kind of this humble beginnings for Vito, who's a really poor kid who gets discharged from the war, and his father has a whole bunch of debt, and so he gets sucked up into this life of crime to try to pay off his father's debt, and ends up, becoming this kind of made man. Driving around these fancy muscle cars and maybe paying off the police a little bit, pushing people around and doing some dirty work. So I think right now Vito has a mission to drive downtown and meet up with his next employer for the next mission. I think he just got a call from his buddy Joe. Joe is the guy who first gets him, I guess sneaks him out of the army, gets him connected with the underworld. You're going to be doing a lot of missions alongside Joe. There are a bunch of missions in Mafia II that take place, I guess, on the ground, and you're going to have backup in the form of computer-controlled kind of buddies who will watch your back and kind of help you out in firefights. So yeah, I mean, we're driving downtown here, and you can see this is kind of a hot rod type car, and we're listening to a lot of some authentic period piece. There's an entire score, entire musical score from Mafia II. It's got more than 100 songs from that area. Stuff like Little Richard and all the kind of classic rock and roll from that era. And we're driving down the street and had a little bump there, but
No.
Yeah. Got turned around a little bit. So you can see we're driving through the streets of the city here, and looks like we got to our cutscene here with our mission briefing.
Where you from, Henry?
Sicily.
What brought you to the States?
Mussolini.
We buy you a ticket.
Don't be a smart-ass, Joe.
So as you can see, there's been a lot of attention paid to the cutscenes and lots of really close and dramatic storytelling. For those who don't know, Mafia II is developed by a studio called 2K Czech, which contains a lot of the original talent from the original developer of the first Mafia game, which is a very underappreciated, kind of cult classic. The studio is called Illusion Softworks. They made a bunch of really great tactical shooters in addition to Mafia. They made Hidden and Dangerous. They made Viet Cong. So they know a lot about actually making good shooting games. But the thing about the first Mafia game was it was very underrated because it was more than just an open world game. It actually had a really cool story, really good driving, really good shooting. Mafia 2 is kind of an extension of that. It's not really an open world game so much as it's kind of a mission-based, story-based game. But it takes place in a city that's about 10 square miles in virtual size. You can go steal cars, you can drive around, you can commit crimes. There is a police force that will kind of choke you if you mess around too much, but over here in this mission, it looks like we're gonna have carte blanche to take this mounted machine gun and kind of wreak a little havoc here. So yeah, so there's our target there. They saw us. We're gonna be shooting at the guys, which doesn't work too good, so maybe we can aim some engine blocks. The thing is, I guess Mafia 2 models actual damage on car chassis, so if you fire on an engine block, you can actually blow it up and get a really spectacular explosion. And that was an example of some of the melee combat that you can do in the game. It looks like Joe and our buddies were helping us out. And then we're seeing here Mafia 2's cover system, which is really, really simple to do. You basically just press a button to go into cover, and then from cover you can actually, as you saw Vito kind of slid to attach himself to that car, you can basically dynamically go from cover to cover. So it's actually, I've played it before, it's actually really easy to do. and we're in the distillery, which is where our target is run into, and we're going to see a good example of Mafia 2's kind of on-the-ground firefights with some computer-controlled companions helping us out on the side. Vito's kind of taking cover here and kind of popping out here and there, firing off shots. You can see there's also a bunch of destructible stuff in the environments. Mafia 2 uses NVIDIA's physics technology to kind of model some of the explosions in the physics, the particles, the destructible environments. There's a lot of stuff that kind of breaks and flies around.
So you don't want to stay in cover too long.
Yeah, you don't want to stay in cover too long because obviously you're going to get surrounded, flanked, and just murdered. So it looks like Vito just picked up a shotgun there, so we're going to get a little more stopping power here.
And all the weapons we're seeing here are accurate to the time
Yeah,
period.
so the game took place, it straddles like the 40s and the 50s, so you're going to see weapons that you expect to around that era. Some World War II stuff, you'll see Tommy guns, that sort of thing. And in addition to the guns, as we mentioned before, there is a full melee system as well. You can do some brawling, you can do some grappling. It's not super in-depth because, generally speaking, you don't, why punch a guy when you can shoot him in the head? But there is that as well. So it looks like we're going into the elevator and we're going after our target. And I think this is where our demo ends.
Wow, very cool. Definitely action-packed there. So this is the demo that's coming out next week for all 3 platforms. But when is the final game coming out?
So the final game, I believe, is coming out on the 24th of September. Watch for this demo this coming Tuesday, PC, Xbox 360, and PS3.
So that is your look at the Mafia 2 demo. Be sure to stick with the site to check out more coverage of Mafia 2. Otherwise, back to you guys at the show.